England leveled the series at 1, the ODI series against India in Cardiff. Really good performance from England in this match. Ultimately, a fairly comfortable win, although there were nervy moments for England. And I think, truthfully, India did pretty well given some of the circumstances and how they lost wickets in the middle overs of their innings, middle and late overs of their innings. Shubham Gill, as the captain, I think had to make a pretty big call in reordering his team with Washington going down with what looked like a hamstring injury. I think he's probably going to be out of the series decider at Lord's on Sunday. Was shaping up to be a huge Sunday in England with the series decider at Lord's at the most hallowed cricket ground. India versus England, the classic matchup, and then we were hoping to have an England-Spain World Cup final, FIFA World Cup final, across the pond in New Jersey. Instead, there is no England World Cup final, so the eyes of the nation may be focused on this series decider with India. Bumrah again was outstanding. Actually, was pretty outstanding with the bat too, and kept India in this match. Both with having to bowl those 10 overs. Every Indian bowler, they were down to their 5 bowlers, right? Their options were gone with Washington's injury. So the other 5 bowlers all had to bowl the maximum 10 overs today. Bumrah was outstanding with the bat late on, and he actually was undefeated. But the other wickets all fell for India, and they were out at 233 for 10. And even to get to that 233, they really struggled and had to stretch, which I think was to me very, very apparent when you look at just the way India's batting went. Obviously, Virat Kohli, one of the great cricketers of all time, one of the great batters of all time, 65 from I think 66 balls, very, very efficient. And Iyer, who wasn't retired until late, Shreyas, he was very good as well. But then the fall of the wickets was pretty telling. You had Dubé, who at times has been very good with the bat, both in the T20 and ODI levels, go for a duck. You had Kishan, I think, had 1 run and faced about 8 or 9 balls. You had Axar Patel, who had to bowl, I think, more than he thought he may have to today because of Washington's. I don't think he was the full 10 overs was in the plan for him. He goes for only a run or 2. So very, very difficult innings for India. But they squeezed it out and got to 233 with a couple boundaries from unlikely boundaries from Bumrah late. The bowling for England I thought was outstanding. Jofra Archer is always Johnny on the spot. When Archer is on, when Archer's on, we know. Whether it's in franchise cricket in the IPL or whether it's for England. At one-day level, at Test and T20. Mahmood was good today. And I think that it was an interesting decision by Harry Brook to bring in the extra seamer, knowing how the wicket was going to play in Cardiff. Less spin, more seam today. And that was a good call. Gus Atkinson was good with the bat as well, and he bowled very well. Actually ended up winning the match with the bat. And because he won the match with the bat, Joe Root doesn't quite get a century. So let's talk about England's innings. Root originally struggled with the new ball, and it seemed like both Bumrah and Prasid were getting the best of him. I think I noted this here. He only had 4 from his first 20 balls with the new balls. First 20 deliveries, 4. Yet he got to 99. He basically got to a century. And he just grinded it out. That's what Joe Root does. That's why he's so good. He just grinded it out and carried his team on a day where Bethel was kind of poor with the bat. Butler was shaky. Will Jacks was very good. And this is something we talked about with England before. They are so balanced in their batting attack that they are able to. Some of your stars can be completely off. Actually, Harry Brook wasn't very good today, and lost his wicket after I think taking 16 or 17 balls. That's it, 16 or 17 deliveries. But they're so balanced that there's always someone who's going to step up. Joe Root is the main man, undefeated 99 today, but Butler kept himself alive for a while. Jackson, Atkinson were quite good, and Sam Curran was good until he ended up losing his wicket after keeping England alive. That was another note. There was a strategic decision by Harry Brook, slight cough here, to change the batting order today and insert Curran earlier in the order. And I think that, coupled with India's having to change the bowling attack because of Washington getting injured, and I think it's a hamstring injury. I am pretty sure he will not play in the series decider at Lord's on Sunday. I mean, we'll keep an eye on that and update you guys on that if something changes. With all of that in mind, there was a change in the order today, and I felt that was pretty critical. I think Curran, at a point where it looked like India might be gaining a foothold and maybe were a wicket away from turning this match over, they got one more wicket. I think in those middle overs, it would have been a very different. And I'm not just talking about getting the wicket of Root. Obviously, that's what they wanted. But still, one of his partners, break up all of his potential partnerships. They weren't able to do that with Curran very easily. So that allowed England to just kind of steady their way through those middle overs, and then as India's bowlers, because again, without Washington, they were all going to have to bowl the maximum if this had gone the full 50 overs. There were tiring. There were some loose deliveries. There were some extras. There were some freebies that India gave England. I think Bumrah may have had 3 or 4 extras today. Actually, I want to check the scorecard. Let's see. Do I see on the scorecard how many extras, on the scorecard here, how many extras he gave? No, but I remember at least 3. It might have been 4, honestly. So that's, to me, pretty significant. That there were, you're already trying to defend a pretty low total, 233. Although in hindsight, it kind of was respectable on this track. But then you give them extras, especially your best bowler gives them extras. I remember at least 3. I think there may have been a 4th or a 5th. You're always asking for it. So congratulations to England. Maybe heals some of the national unease after what happened in Atlanta. Perhaps Thomas Tuchel can take a lesson or two from Harry Brook and Brendan McCullum about continuing to stay aggressive. Folks, if you're football fans, just check out beyondthe90.net and you will find lots and lots of content from me about England's elimination from the FIFA World Cup, including really a look at history and how the capitulation yesterday reminded me of the capitulation against Portugal in Euro 2004. Reminded me of the capitulation, obviously there have been comparisons made to the Croatia game in 2018. Reminded me of the Brazil game in 2002. Obviously there's some obvious parallels with the Argentina match in 98. So those of us who followed England, I've followed England my entire adult life, international football, and obviously in club football, English clubs, the English league is what I follow, what I cover. It was tragic, and it was devastating, and it was emotionally draining and upsetting. But 24 hours later, I can tell you everything that happened in those last 30 minutes was utterly predictable and may or may not be the fault of Thomas Tuchel. We can talk about individual substitutions and changes that maybe should have been made. I would have liked to have seen Ollie Watkins or Marcus Rashford to release the pressure, to relieve the pressure, somebody who you can play an outlet ball to. But ultimately, this is who England is. And getting back to cricket, this is who England is. England fighting, grinding, staying in a series against an Indian side that they've had so much trouble beating at the ODI level and at the Test level, and quite frankly at the T20 level when it's not on in the British Isles. So great victory for England today.